Paul McGuire Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis. Glen, Tarzan, it is really great talking to both of you today. I had such an emotional, wild ride with this, and I really loved every second of this movie. So thank you so much for being a part of it.
Of course, man.
Thank you. Thank you for watching it. God
Yeah.
dang
Oh my
it.
God. Are you kidding me? Oh God, it was so great. Glen, I want to start with you. I read an interesting conversation that you had with Tom about the character of Hangman and how he really kind of convinced you to look at the whole movie. Can you say a little bit more about how impactful that conversation was?
I don't know if there's a luckier actor on the face of the planet. I faced my mortality on this movie. I almost didn't make it, and here I am getting to talk about a movie I've dreamed about being part of my whole life. And I think the other thing that I feel lucky about is I got to talk about my career for hours and now months and years on with the guy who inspired it all. And so Tom really told me about how he builds movies and has built his career. And that's really what convinced me to be a part of this movie. And that's really what inspired the character Hangman that I get to play.
Yeah, and I want to say I have so much respect for this man right here, for him to sit there and say like, this doesn't work out for me. The character at first, it wasn't really, is this something that I want? Does it really jive with me? And for him to stick to his ground, to say that shows who he is as an artist and stuff, because you're basically saying like, Tom, I don't know, Tom Cruise? How do you say no to Tom Cruise? But I'm so glad that y'all had that conversation, because I wouldn't know what I would do if somebody else was sitting in the seat.
Yeah, no, it was a very looking back on it, it was one of the biggest decisions I've ever made. I knew it was going to be a big decision, whichever way it landed. Mm-hmm. But look, I'm just so grateful for Tom for, first off, believing in me, for sticking and saying, hey, dude, I think you're making a mistake. You should do this movie. And I'm really glad I didn't miss out on it. I would have really been bummed out to see this movie and have missed out on the joyride that it would have been.
Imagine, like, I don't know, a Kendrick sitting next to me right now. Just imagine, I don't know.
Yeah.
Glen, I'm glad you said yes, because I really have loved watching your career like this entire time. It's been really great. Tarzan, I want to talk to you. Tell me about the boot camp and the aviation training that you all went through as well, because that's a very singular experience.
Why are you bringing back traumatic experiences? I don't know. I don't know. No, it was very intense. I mean, Tom set up this very rigorous program to learn how to fly, to get comfortable inside of an aircraft. So we flew in a Cessna to the Extra 300, the L-39, and then the F-18. And I think we really needed that in order to be able to get what we got in the sky. But there was this water sequence. Take it over. Take it over, Glen.
All right, I'll finish for you, buddy. So Tarzan actually learned how to swim on this movie. The swim fizz on this movie was done by the U.S. swim team. We literally were training with the U.S. swim team, because what you have to do is you have to be treading water, swimming, and doing all the survival stuff while wearing full gear, full flight gear, as if you just ejected over water. We're doing a lot of this aerial stuff over water. And he learned how to swim on this movie. And in addition to that, the helo dunker, which was the nightmare, they literally drop a helicopter chassis in, submergent water, spin it, you're blindfolded, and you have to find your way out, as simulating a helicopter crashing at nighttime in the ocean.
You know who's crazy?
What?
You know who's crazy? This guy. So we're in a helo dunker, right? You flip over, and I'm just trying to get done. Me and Lewis butts heads in the underwater, blindfold and everything. And this guy says, I want to do it again. For fun! For fun! I'm like, can I take his passable trash trial? God dang it.
That's when you're trying to be Tom Cruise, and then you realize, yeah.
I love it. I love the fearlessness. I love your positivity and the joy you both bring today. Thank you. I got the rap. I wish to keep talking to you. Congrats on such a really incredible movie. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you. Paul McGuire Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis. Miles, it is really great talking today. I had an absolute blast with Top Gun Maverick. It is really incredible from start to finish. So congratulations on this.
Thank you. Sorry about your Timberwolves. That was a good
Oof. Every Minnesota sports team is not doing well right now.
My brother-in-law's from Minnesota, so I get it.
Yeah. Now, between this and The Offer, which you're so good in, you're entering the world of The Godfather and Top Gun, which are both so beloved. How do you then handle and manage the expectations that must come with that?
I mean, in a lot of ways, I'm not, because I think to try and figure out what other people want out of your character, or I mean, that's really what I was controlling, at least in this one, was my character. But I knew, I mean, look, if they asked me to do a sequel to Top Gun without Tom and without Jerry Bruckheimer and without Joe Kosinski, I don't know if I do it. But the fact that Tom was involved in, revisiting this character, I had no worries about kind of the quality of the film.
Yeah. Now tell me about the boot camp and the aviation that he made you go through. Did it come kind of naturally to you, or was it way outside your comfort zone?
No. It's such a unique skill set to be able to fly around in a jet and not pass out and to not throw up, which both those things were happening to a lot of the, other actors in this movie. But it's incredibly difficult, and I think it was something that I had no idea it was going to be as tough as it was.
Right. One of the scenes I love in the movie, I mean, is the beach football scene, because you're paying homage to the volleyball scene.
Yeah.
Who in your cast is the most competitive, whether it was in that scene or just the overall balance of the set?
I don't know. I think everybody had a healthy level of of competition, but I would say Monica, actually. Monica, and the part she's playing, and it's was a bit of a boys' club, and that's why I love her character so much. But she was bringing it.
Absolutely. Now, this movie is one of those movies that you go to the theater to see IMAX, massive sound. You just kind of that experience you never forget. What were the movies that you saw growing up on the big screen that either maybe made you want to be an actor, or that it's forever held a place in your heart?
Here's a movie, and it's not iconic by any means. And Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I ended up tweeting something about it, and the directors got back to me, and I think the writers, and they're like, apparently the movie really bombed, but I said, not in my house. In my house, I remember taking all my buddies to the movie theater to see it, and I just thought it was so cool.
Oh my God, I remember loving it when it came. I think we were like roughly the same age, and I have it in the collection over here too.
Oh, nice. Yeah, it's the best.
It's so good. Tell me about the energy and passion that Tom Cruise brings to the set, and does that amp up your game as well?
For sure. When Tom gets on set, you better be ready to go. And Tom's been there, he's the first one in, last one to leave. He carries himself with such grace and dignity, but he's the tip of the spear. He really is, and it's not a coincidence that these movies that he's in are as jaw-dropping and entertaining and inspiring as they are, because he puts the time in. There's nobody that works harder than Tom that I've seen, and he sets a really high bar. So I mean, but that's why he's the biggest star in the world and has been for a long time.
I love hearing that. I got the rap. It was great talking to you, Miles, and congrats on Whiplash too. I mean, that is a movie that I'll never forget too. So great work in that.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, take care. Paul McGuire Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis. Jennifer, it is really great talking to you today. I had such a blast with Top Gun Maverick. It's so emotional. I really loved every second of it. So congratulations.
Thank you. I'm so happy to hear that. Thanks.
Yeah. Now, you worked with Joe Kosinski before on Only the Brave, which was which was a really great movie. Was it then just a no-brainer to say yes to when you were approached for this one?
100%. Yeah. He called me up and talked to me about it. He's like, I can send you the script. I was like, great, but yes. Yes. I'd love to read the script, but also yes.
Right. I mean, tell me about it, sure, but don't worry. Yeah.
I love working with Joe. Joe's a great director, and I'm really impressed by his ability to take on a movie of this scale, and he just did a beautiful job with it.
Yeah. Now, speaking of that, describe a Tom Cruise set. What energy and passion does he bring with it? Then does that amplify your game? He
is remarkably committed, passionate, devoted to his work. He strikes me as someone who truly appreciates every day on set and wants to make the most of every opportunity. That's what I saw in him, and I had so much respect for that. And absolutely, you want to, I feel that way about my work anyway. I'm always grateful to have the opportunity, but for sure, I felt beholden to him and his enthusiasm and his expectations for the film, and just wanted to do the best that I could.
Yeah. Oh God, that's great. Now I read was something I really loved that you said about Penny and Maverick's meetup, really just kind of happening at the right time for Penny. Have you had those experiences in life, and what has that taught you?
Oh gosh, I don't know what to say. I mean, I guess so. I guess sometimes life is about timing.
Mhm.
I don't know. I've been in a marriage for 18 years now. I guess yes, I met the right person at the right time. So it seems to be working.
Right. That's great. Now, this movie is one of those movies that you just need to experience on the big screen with the sound and the picture that you really just can't replicate it at home. What are those movies growing up that you saw on the big screen that just had a profound impact on you?
Well, Top Gun, Star Wars. I remember seeing Star Wars as a kid. That was one of the first ones that I saw that really blew me away.
Yeah. We recently watched Return of the Jedi with the Minnesota Orchestra playing the score live as the movie was going on. And it was one of the most incredible experiences.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a line in this movie that I really love. That's kind of the theme, I think. It's not what I am, it's who I am. What does this line mean to you? And have you been able to reflect on that yourself?
I gonna say I haven't spent that much time thinking about that particular line.
Okay.
It's not what I am, it's who I am. I'm not sure. I'll have to think on that one and get back to you.
Okay. Well, Jennifer, it's been great talking to you. I got the wrap. Thank you so much. Congrats on the success of this. And I hope that audiences just love it as much as I did.
Thank you. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Lewis, this is Paul McGuire Grimes, ABC Minneapolis. I am so excited to talk to all three of you today. This was such an emotional and a wild ride. I really loved every second of it. So congratulations to all three of you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Monica, I want to start with you. What was your initial reaction when you got cast, and when did it finally sink in that this was like actually happening?
I was so pumped to get this role. I really did not think that there was a space for me in this world, and I was just so, excited to get to portray a woman who's a pilot and really capable, and get to just be like one of the guys. I was pumped. I
love it.
Yeah.
That's great. Now, Lewis, tell me about the boot camp and the aviation training that made you all go through. What was that experience like?
That was one of the most intense things probably I've ever had to do. But it was also one of the most fun things I've ever gotten to do, because we got to do it all together, all these insane things that usually, most pedestrians don't even get to the opportunity to try, like being put into a dunker and being flipped upside down and having to knock out a window and swim all out, and fly, pull G's and learn how to do that. But we did it as a team, and we lifted each other up, and that made the whole thing extra exciting and extra special.
Yeah, and it's probably something that you will never forget and probably never do again.
Yeah. He'll definitely never forget doing it with me, Paul.
Oh, absolutely.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, Jay, I love that you guys do a beach football scene to really pay homage to the volleyball scene. Who was the most competitive of your castmates during that?
Sorry.
Tom.
Well, competitive in...
In the game, Tom took the game very serious.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think he really wanted us, like, we were really playing a football game. There was no, like, we were, like, all out going at each other.
Yeah.
Which then, like, I think every single one of us got more pumped up. And Glenn probably was the next person who was like, this is a real football game. I'm throwing touchdowns, catching touchdowns, get out of my way.
Well, also everyone was so jacked and like
Yeah.
ready to go and like took, I don't know, what is that a brand name? NO Explode? Like everyone was just like on this stuff to like just get their veins, and it was like the most intense day maybe of.
I will say everyone at some point was like down in a circle doing push-ups together. Like everyone was like just pumping out push-ups. We just had so much energy. We had to get out. Yeah.
Glenn's most famous line all throughout the workouts that he was like sort of a mantra as he was working out was, montages last forever. He just said that over and over and over again as he pumped into infinity.
That's true.
I feel like I need to get cast in a Top Gun movie to like force me to actually get like shredded and buffed, because that's just like you kind of have to do with that. Jay, talk about just the energy and the passion that Tom Cruise brings to a set, and then does that just elevate all of your jobs even more?
Yeah, it's this crazy experience. Like, obviously we all walk to set and we're like, oh my gosh, it's Tom. Like, this is so crazy. Like, he knows your name. And then you get into it and you start working with him and you see the specificity and the detail, and like, not only just about the filmmaking and the camera work and the script, but also like the laser focus that he puts into each one of us as members of this cast. Like, he wants everyone to succeed and do well, and he gave us every resource that he had in order for us to feel our best while we're flying and while we're making this movie. And it's insanely contagious. Like, all of a sudden, like, back to Lewis's point earlier about the phys test that we had to do and the training we had to do, like, we became this team that just, we all wanted each other to succeed and do really, really well. And it all started from Tom.
I mean, that's just incredible to hear that you have that kind of a mentor on set of someone of his caliber to just infuse everyone in that. I got the rap. Congratulations, all three of you. This movie is incredible, and I hope that audiences love it as much as I did.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you. Paul, McGuire, Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis, John, Charles, Bashir. It is really great talking to all three of you today. This movie is really incredible. I had a blast from start to finish, and it's really emotional too. So congratulations to all three of you.
Thanks very much. Thank you.
Yeah. Now, John, I want to start with you. I would imagine that being in this movie is a very unique experience. How did this process and the energy that Tom brings just differ from the many other movies and TV shows that you've done?
First of all, since you're from Minneapolis, I have to say, let's go Blues. Let's get that out of the way. Secondly, being in a Tom Cruise movie is unlike any other experience that I've ever had as an actor. It is singular, it is exciting, and it is top of the list for me. I don't know what I was expecting, but everything delivered. And to get to see the finished product, especially after such a long wait, I was duly blown away, and I can't wait for people to see it. So I'm honored and humbled to be a part of it, but it was everything I wanted it to be and more.
Oh, that is awesome. And I can't imagine having to just like know that you made this and then have to sit on it for like 2 years, like waiting to hear what people think about it. Now, Bashir, did you three go through the same like boot camp and aviation training than your other castmates, or did you just kind of get back to sit and watch them go through it all?
You know, actually, I made jokes about it at one of the early table reads. I said, well, at least I don't have to do any jet training. And then Tom was like, but you got to do some training. So I actually had to go to several facilities, several defense facilities, meet with folks who do what my character as a warrant officer would do in implementing new aerospace tech and things like that. And I actually had, I saw some things that America's working on and got cooking up for the future. Guys, it's going to be very exciting times. But no, I think all of us, the filmmakers, to their credit, made sure that every single actor in this movie had a vocation. And the vocation was tailored to their part. And I think you saw that when you watched the film and you saw what folks brought to the table.
Oh, well, everyone brought it. And it's noticeable, too. That's how stunning the movie is. Now, Charles, there must be pressure going into this, knowing that many generations are going to love it. When did you know on set that you were creating something special and that you were really nailing it?
Woof. I don't know if I ever know I'm nailing it, but I will say that Tom Cruise makes you feel like you're nailing it, whether you feel like you're nailing it or not. And in the end, you feel like you nailed it by the time it's over. You don't think you think that, but by the time it's over, your chest is out and you're looking at him and he's looking at you. It's like, we did this. He's like, yeah, we did this. He's like, and he always goes, you did it. So I guess the first time I knew that I was in this thing was my very first scene in front of a 4-foot American flag and seeing Tom and seeing Jerry Bruckheimer in the background and knowing that I was a part of this thing I've been watching my whole life.
Oh, that's awesome. John, what about you? When did it sit in for you, hit in?
It's very similar to Charles's experience. You are very aware that you're in the presence of a movie star when you're on this set, and yet you are also so included in the process that you then feel like you are sort of reflected in that glow. Also, I had a really cool spray tan and some awesome sweat, so I looked kind of awesome all the time, which was on purpose. But yeah, it's just a wonderful experience to be in a movie like this that sits so lovingly in our American shared cultural experience, and then to be part of the extension of that story. It's a singular experience. That's all I can say. I've never had anything like it. I've been doing this for some time now. I've had my share of successes and what have yous, but this is its own thing. And I really can't wait for people to see this thing big and loud and in the movie theaters.
Absolutely. This is why you go to a theater to see a movie like this. I got the rap. Congratulations to all three of you on being a part of something that is so fantastic, and I cannot wait for people to see it.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you. Nickel Wire, Grimes, ABC, Minneapolis. Jerry, Joe, it is really great talking to both of you today. This was such an emotional, wild ride, and I had an absolute blast, literally from start to finish. So thank you so much for all the work you did on this film.
Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
Yeah, God, it was so good. Now, Jerry, I want to start with you. This film is dedicated to Tony Scott, and I couldn't help but think about him and Don Simpson, and both of them are no longer with us. How often were there discussions about, their creative minds, maybe what they would have done with this movie?
Well, I think Tony was involved in the very beginning before we lost him. So some of the things that he was thinking about are still around and part of this movie, and Tony's a big part of the film only because it's got the feel. Joe gave the feel that Tony would have given it, and I'm really so thrilled that Joe kind of brought something that Tony would have brought to the movie.
Oh, absolutely. I felt a really seamless connection to the original film. So congrats, Joe. There was this insistence with Tom that everything had to be shot practically, minimal, if no CGI, which I really love. How does that then test you as a director, knowing that you can't just then maybe fix something in post?
I love the challenge. I love, since I was a kid, I've loved airplanes, aviation. I studied it for a while in school. So for me, this was the challenge of figuring out how to shoot this film was really fun. I love the process of making movies. So we worked very closely with the Navy. My cinematographer, Claudio Miranda, and I worked with them for about 15 months to figure out how to put 6 cameras in the cockpits of these Super Hornets with the actors. And I just think the results speak for themselves. You just can't fake what we were trying to achieve.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's truly stunning to watch. I was in awe the entire time. Jerry, I'm curious, how has Tom Cruise changed all these years later? Because he has such a presence on screen and off screen.
He gets younger. It's unbelievable. He looks fantastic. Yeah. Just more knowledge. He's worked with so many great directors and other actors, so he just has a wealth to draw on for his performance. Yeah. He's a better producer than I'll ever be. He knows everybody's job better than they do because he's been doing it so long, and he doesn't suffer fools. He really is a hard charger. He's somebody you want on your side. He's somebody who cares more than anybody on how good the movie is. And it's just not about his part. It's about the film. He loves the process. He loves making movies. He loves getting up in the morning and going to work. And that's so invigorating for everybody around him.
Oh, absolutely. It seems like it from the cast. Speaking of them, there's such an emotional core between all of them, and the camaraderie is there. I really felt that. Was that because of the casting? Was that what you guys, was there something extra you all did to kind of make that happen?
Well, Joe took real care in casting the characters, put them together, interviewed them separately, interviewed them with Tom. So it wasn't a mistake. They all got along. They hung out together during the filming. So it was a really nice experience for all of us.
Yeah. Oh my God, I got the rap. I wish I could keep talking to you. Joe, I got to tell you, my husband's family is from Marshalltown, Iowa, and I believe his cousin Carrie was in your class. So I just want to mention that little connection we have.
Love that connection.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Congrats on this film. It was great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.